Good afternoon, this is Angela with Parkos Permaculture. I'm hanging out in my front yard this afternoon working on some garden projects. We have been having an extensive amount of house repair going on, and so I haven't really been able to work in the front yard in a number of days. And a couple of days ago, my eldest child commented to me, "Hey mom, I wish we had more trellises going in the garden." Now I actually have a lot of trellises in the garden. I only have a 1/4 acre. It means that I am constantly looking for opportunities to grow vertically in the garden. And so anywhere I have a gate, I put a pallet wood trellis over the top of it. Anywhere I can use hazelnut prunings and create a trellis, I do. I really am a fan of Bealtaine Cottage videos in Ireland, and she often uses willow, and I don't want to unleash willow on my property here, so I'm not going to be using willow arches. I just don't want to take that risk. So there's a couple of places in the front and backyard. I was thinking I have the potential to add a trellis here. What do I want to do? And one of those places was up here in the front yard, where I have been watching for a while my goji berry and my wolfberry. And before folks tell me they're the same plant, they're not. They're different species in the same genus. They've gotten big and floppy, and they could get a lot bigger this year. They're doing really well, really happy. And then I noticed Plant Abundance had a video recently in which he uses cattle panels to train his goji berries, and I thought that is the perfect solution for me. So I went to the local coastal farm and ranch store and grabbed a couple of 16-foot 5-gauge cattle panels and some steel posts and some zip ties, and I'm going to put in a trellis here for my goji berries today in the front, and then another trellis in the backyard, and I'll show you that one at a later date. But let's talk about how I'm going to put this in here, and I'll also link in the description to the inspiration from Plant Abundance in California. He can grow all kinds of things I can't, but because I am able to put these gojis in a sheltered place against my neighbor's arborvitae hedge, it means that they are protected from the strong east winds, and they do thrive here. So if you live in Portland and you have a sheltered spot you can give your gojis, they will do well here. So let me get them trained up and then talk about the process of really easy installation of this cattle panel trellis and what I hope to accomplish with it. So hang tight. So the first thing I've done here is I removed an evergreen blueberry that was here. It was one of the first things I planted in my yard, and it was leaning pretty darn heavily because these gojis were smothering it. So I put it in a different location. Look past all of the construction stuff from the repairs to our house. Here I have a bush cherry, and I put the blueberry here. It doesn't look that big because I pruned back 50% of the top material, because blueberries, when they're mature, don't do well being transplanted unless you remove the burden of that excess top foliage so that the roots get a chance to recover and establish. So I've put that over there where it's going to be very happy. And now I'm going to focus on whether I need to take out this honeyberry. I have a little path here. You'll notice I have my pawpaw trees here, just about to flower. And I want to create a trellis here next to the pawpaw where my gojis can go up and over this area of the path and come down here. I need to do some fiddling and decide if I need to move this honeyberry or not. So the first thing you're going to need for this project is a 16-foot cattle panel. And you can see they're quite flexible. This is 2 of them together because I'm going to build 2 arches. And you can get the 5 or the 6 gauge. Both of them will work. The second thing that you're going to need is zip ties. Now you also could use wire, or you could use these special little attachments that you can get to go on the steel fence post, but zip ties work really well. It makes it easy to make adjustments and changes. Just make sure you get the ones that are UV resistant so they last for years. The last thing you're going to need is 6-foot posts. You will need 4 of them for each trellis. So I've gotten my 2 posts into the ground, and you want to place them about 50 inches apart, slightly less than. And that is because my cattle panel is 50 inches wide, and I'm going to be attaching it on the ends to my 2 posts. Now the arch is going to come up and over this walkway here, and the other 2 posts will go here where I've removed this honeyberry and given it a nice new home down here. And what I need to know is, what is the width of my arch going to be? Now, because of the way the cattle panels bow, it's going to work best if I put about 60 inches, give or take, in between my posts. And that gives a nice arch. So I just want to measure out here until I am 60 inches. And that is where I'm going to put my other 2 stakes. So let me get those into the ground and I'll be right back. So now we're ready to install the arch. We have all 4 posts in the ground, and they are level and square, 50 inches apart from here to here and 60 inches across the path, and the arch will go up and over this way. So we have our cattle panel, and the most important thing to do now is find the middle of your cattle panel and mark it with a piece of tape. That's going to be the top of your arch. It will be extremely helpful to have that marker while you are installing the arch itself. As you can see, it's really important that you get at least 3 zip ties per post. And when you trim your zip ties, you want to leave a little bit of an overhang. You don't want to trim them too close here. You want to leave a little bit of an overhang. Sorry, my hands are so dirty, y'all. That's what happens when you're digging in the dirt. So I've got at least 3 zip ties per post. That helps keep it really nice and secure. I removed the cages around the goji berry and wolfberry, so now they will be free to go up and over the trellis. I have not decided what I'm going to put on this side yet. Here is a young feijoa, which will fill in this whole area very slowly in time. Just had some old logs here and threw in a couple more. As I accumulate more that are not good for firewood because they're punky or what have you, I'll fill out the path here, and my hope is to make a little planting bed here and one here. I may end up putting pumpkins on the right side, but here you can see the gojis, which are infamous for tip rooting. So now, instead of flopping over and having the canes tumble onto the ground where they will inevitably root and spread and create a thicket, I have these brittle branches protected behind the trellis and able to go straight up and over. And that also helps the goji fruit be within easy reach. And because gojis are prone to powdery mildew in my climate, keeping them up and spread apart instead of all flopped over provides better air circulation and reduces the risk of powdery mildew. So I'm really happy with this project. I also am excited when we get our new windows done. We'll now have a view down here. This area just feels neater and tidier and more organized. I definitely think I'll probably put some pumpkins here this year and have them go up over the top, but eventually I'll probably put a perennial climber of some sort. Maybe American groundnut. I'm not sure. I'll have to think about it for a while. Really, really happy with this project for about $35 total outlay. I have a really easy trellis that didn't take very long to put in, less than 2 hours. Will last for years and years and gives me great support for my perennial food crops as well as annual food crops. So thank you for watching. If you end up making a cattle panel trellis in your garden, I'd love to hear how it works out for you, and I'd love to hear what kinds of things you enjoy growing up and over your trellises, because I'm always looking for more opportunities for vertical growth in my garden. Thanks.